everyone, it's Maki here. The world of Gundam Seed is filled with a multitude of elements. Among them, there are entities that weren't extensively covered in the TV anime series. However, even among those important elements exist, they might even make an appearance in the movie Gundam Seed Freedom. By the way, what comes to mind when you hear the term those with seed abilities in the TV anime? There was a moment where Priest Mayo explicitly told Kira and Lars, "You too possess the abilities of seed." The scenes where their eye colors changed and they demonstrated extreme skill as pilots were quite memorable. One day, a critically important element in the world of Gundam Seed is the existence of seed itself. Actually, there's another entity explained by the term seed to introduce this fact. Today we'll be talking about an entity known as SUIT. He primarily appears in a spin-off called Gundam Seed. Astray characters from the Astray series were not majorly depicted in the TV anime. However, there are scenes where they are involved, albeit minimally, like carrying out resupply operations for the fleet of Kira and Lars. There's a possibility that they may somehow be involved in the movie as well. The term SUIT comes from Latin, meaning comrade or battle buddy in English. Now, let's delve into the story of SUIT. This takes place much farther back in time than the events portrayed in the Gundam Seed TV anime. A man named George Grimm brought information about a genetically engineered race and the technology associated with it, referred to as coordinators, into the world. The first entities to pay attention to this technology were the military. This was long before the emergence of organizations like the Earth Alliance Forces or ZAFT. These early military bodies endeavored to develop technology, specifically focusing on creating coordinators optimized for combat capabilities. Due to the ethical implications of the research, the project proceeded secretly over the course of several decades. As space development became more advanced, the research base was moved to a space colony. This became the colony named Mendel, which also appeared in the TV anime. The coordinators that were created had fatal flaws, yet it's hard to determine if these could truly be considered flaws. These coordinators possessed immense mental resilience and were highly resistant to indoctrination and brainwashing tactics that contradicted reason. A soldier with high combat abilities is meaningless and dangerous if they won't follow orders. To solve this issue, researchers focused on what they termed the obedience gene, a gene naturally occurring in humans. By modifying this gene, it became possible to control individual behavior, independent of personal will. Around the time this technology was implemented, the project for creating combat-focused coordinators was named the SUIT Project. Eventually, a war breaks out between Natos and coordinators. The obedience gene was effective to some extent, but it wasn't foolproof. The military's top brass decided that if there was even a slight possibility of betrayal, they couldn't proceed with manufacturing combat-specific coordinators. And so, the SUIT project was officially terminated. However, a corporation stepped in to continue the work. As explained in the Gundam Seed Astray novel, it's revealed that this corporation was contracted for Earth Alliance Forces mobile suit development. The name Maki doesn't appear. Earth Alliance Forces mobile suit development was concurrently underway at the space colony Heliopolis and the Panama base on Earth. The company overseeing development at Heliopolis was Orbs Maki. Although the name isn't explicitly mentioned, it would be natural to assume it's Maki. The combat-specific coordinators complied with even the most grueling experiments due to the obedience gene. They were treated like exenables, and many lives were lost. However, these coordinators found joy in working for the naturals. This was their instinct. It was their entire reason for living, their joy. It's akin to how we feel refreshed when we drink water. When thirsty, it's a sensation brought about by instinct. It's an element that helps us understand how extremely cruel the project was. It's unclear to what extent Kakali hereafter was aware of the project. However, it's a fact that Kakali, a significant national figure, was determined enough to go undercover herself. The information she had likely wasn't based on vague rumors. Understanding this background might deepen our comprehension of the scenes in the TV anime, where she's seen crying and screaming. The Sokyus units, who were both combat-specific coordinators and crones, were deemed to have fulfilled their roles upon the completion of mobile suit development. Although highly skilled as combat pilots, the Earth Alliance forces had no intention of accepting them as comrades due to their coordinator origins. In such circumstances, enhanced naturals known as boosted men were born. The fate that befell the Sokyus units, who had entirely lost their reason for existence, was disposal. They were to be used as training opponents for the mobile suits piloted by the boosted men, the ones who fought the Sokyus units. In this context were the 3 new Gundams and their pilots featured in the TV anime. However, this was not a situation that could be called a fight. Unable to attack naturals due to their innate programming, the Sokyus units were unilaterally destroyed and lost their lives. A command comes down to Sokyus number 11 from a soldier in the Earth Alliance forces. Number 11, get to the training field. The soldier barks the order at Sokyus in an extremely authoritarian tone. 11 Sokyus understands that the soldier fears coordinators and is popping up with bravado. However, he doesn't hate the natural soldier. Instead, he blames himself for instilling fear in the other party. During the combat training, the boosted men begin to falter, succumbing to withdrawal symptoms from the drugs. As depicted in the TV anime, when this situation arises, 11 Sokyus escapes the military facility. But his escape was not for self-preservation. I want to use my abilities more for the sake of naturals. 11 Sokyus acted on these feelings when he made his escape. He was saddened by the idea that if disposed of, he would no longer be able to work for the benefit of naturals. And so, 11 Sokyus takes action to prove that he is a soldier with value. He challenges Goimu Wakumo, one of the protagonists of the Astray series, to a duel famous as the strongest mercenary. Defeating Goi would enable 11 Sokyus to make a case for his worth as a soldier to the military. All of this was driven by his instinct to do better deeds for naturals. Sokyus did manage to beat Goi. Once as a result, he gained recognition for his worth as a soldier from the Earth Alliance forces and was allowed to participate in military operations. However, this operation was exceedingly reckless, essentially serving as a de facto execution. The military officers ignored Sokyus' feelings and considered excluding him solely for being a coordinator. According to the analysis of a skilled mercenary who is a friend of Goi's, the difference in combat power was 1 to 10,000. The operation was proposed by Murata as well. Although Sokyus, an excellent soldier, understood the recklessness of the operation, he didn't entertain the idea of refusing it due to his instinct to submit to naturals. Gai, who survived the defeat to Sokyus, begins fighting again with the Earth Alliance's Sokyus. as a mercenary hired by the Soft Army. This battle ends in Guy's victory. Guy and Sokyus exit their mobile suits, cockpits and talk through their battle and conversation. Sokyus learns that participating in war isn't the only way to benefit naturals, and so they both left the battlefield. Guy did not take Sokyus' life. Some time had passed. Sokyus was in conversation at an abandoned colony. The two young men, 11 Sokyus and 7 Sokyus, both born as clones with identical appearances, were debating what is the best way to work for the benefit of naturals. Various arguments were exchanged. The Sokyus pair grounded their discussions on the fact that naturals are human beings. This led to the question, are coordinators not human biologically speaking? They are human, Sokyus analyzed calmly. However, arriving at that conclusion also affirmed that naturals and coordinators are of the same human race. This was a way of thinking drastically different from the Earth Alliance Forces officers, who attacked coordinators, labeling them as devils of space. Eventually, they arrive at one answer: if it benefits the naturals, protect the coordinators as well. Through common rational discussions, they reach a further conclusion: the leaders of the Earth Alliance are the ones harming naturals the most. So, did the Sokyus individuals decide to challenge the leaders of the Earth Alliance to battle? They did not make such a choice. Instead, the Sokyus pair decided to blend into the world and influence people's consciousness so that foolish leaders would not emerge. They chose not to initiate battles but to relinquish their weapons and change the world through conversation. Is this due to the genetic manipulation imposed on Sokyus that prevents him from attacking naturals? Or did they arrive at this new way of thinking through their own free will? The interpretation of this aspect is left to the reader. Sokyus and his companions' plan is an extremely audacious one. However, they are calmly and rationally convinced that it is a viable plan. This is because they have discovered a cryogenic storage facility containing beings like themselves. In an abandoned colony, hundreds of their comrades, preserved in a fetal state, confirmed for them that plans spanning centuries or even millennia could realistically be executed. Mendo, as depicted in the anime, was illustrated as a horrifying place. Kira Yamato was mentally shocked upon witnessing research specimens like deformed fetuses. Raul Cree denounced it as a symbol of the sins committed by humanity. But Sokyus and his companions sought ways to utilize Mendo's research findings for the peace of the people. The scene I'm about to introduce is depicted in Gundam Seed Destiny. In front of the hesitant Asranzar and his Infinite Justice Gundam, Lawless Klein says power is merely power. The role you assign to it is yours to decide. Kira and Creek had judged Mendo's research outcomes as every sins of humanity. This interpretation may not necessarily be wrong. However, Sokyus and his companions calmly analyzed the research outcomes and concluded they could be utilized for peace. In the novel, they refer to the cryogenically preserved fetuses with a specific term, Sokyus seed. Through the story of Sokyus, it becomes clear that the term seed doesn't only refer to the abilities of Kira and his peers. 7 Sokyus and 11 Sokyus understand that they will not be able to see the completion of their plan with their own eyes. Given that the plan needs centuries or even millennia, the limitation of lifespan exists. Even so, they are filled with gentle and fulfilling emotions, confident in the future where the naturals will be happy. The story of Sokyus concludes with the depiction of their warm expressions. Thank you for watching the program until the end. Let's meet again in the next episode.